All right, well, here we are. Guess what that number's up to? 240. 240 days now.
240 days without a Murph dog sighting.
Yeah. So, still going.
Send us proof of life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm tagging Dateline. I'm not getting anything back. Surprise, surprise. But we demand answers here at ILH. We want to know where Murph Dog is. We want to know he's okay. And you're right. We need pics for proof of life. That's exactly it, Kate.
Hold up the newspaper. Let's see it.
Yes, we need that. But in the meantime, let's talk about this. Dateline.
I'm Lester Holt.
Howdy, Holtheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
All right, we are here to discuss a brand new Dateline, but it was not a Friday fatty.
No.
This was a shorty, and I wonder, do you know why? Do you think there was something else on that they had to, like, was there a football game or something? What do you think?
Is the football over?
No, I think it's not over till, like, Feb, dog.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm so out of the sports loop, I have no idea.
I hear ya. I only know when it comes around because people who care about NASCAR less when football starts, and it bugs me.
Speaking of NASCAR,
Yep.
Weren't you wearing that shirt the last time we recorded?
I was hoping. Kate, I'm so glad you pointed it out, because here's me doing my math in my wardrobe. I said, what am I wearing today? Okay, I definitely had this on last time we recorded, but it was not video.
Right.
So I could have survived, but damn you and your eagle eye. You spotted it. I was wearing this shirt last time we recorded.
Has it been washed?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's talk about this Dateline. We got it. It's hosted by AC.
Here's Andrea Canning with Deadly Dance.
And here is the IMDb description. A former ballerina shoots her husband in what she alleges was an act of self-defense. The ensuing investigation, IMDb. The ensuing investigation and dramatic trial spark protests and receive national attention. Okay, that's kind of it. They're pushing it with the protest stuff. What'd you think of this Dateline, Kateline? Give me your overall.
Meh.
Big meh.
Yeah.
Big ol' meh.
Yeah, it's tough. I found a lot of people unlikable. So
yeah,
it's hard for me to care.
Fair. I would agree with that. I mean, this has, like, if you take out some of the deets of this story, they are elements of bigger and better Datelines, including a previously deceased wife. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's usually the start of a great Dateline.
He said he poisoned her.
But even that isn't delivered on. Well, we'll get to that. Our story begins in September of 2020, outside of Sarasota or something. And there is a call to 911 that the lady who lives next door had come over and said, call 911. I accidentally shot my husband in self-defense. And we hear this 911 call of the 911 operator talking to this other person.
She was quite hysterical. I didn't know who was banging on my door.
This was a new one for us, wasn't it? Like, the topic of this 911 call was interesting.
Well, we've seen it before where someone else calls 911 on behalf of the person who should be calling.
Yep.
But this was a little different in that the 911 operator would ask a question and then the caller would have to ask it again instead of just putting the person on the phone.
It was weird because I thought she was in the other house or something, because the new thing for us was the fact that the 911 operator is telling the person on the phone, tell her to come out with her hands up and nothing in her hands. Mm-hmm. Like, that was, the whole geography of it was strange to me.
Put your hands where she can see them, okay?
Just start walking out front. They're outside.
And she does it, and the cops show up. And this is the house of Ashley Benefield's mother. This story today is about Ashley and Doug Benefield. But who beat the cops to the scene of the crime?
Ashley's therapist got to the house before the police.
28 years in law enforcement. Unusual to see a therapist show up at a crime scene like this?
Which is a big red flag. We later learn why. It's because Ashley was actually living with the therapist, and...
Was she really?
That's what they said.
She lived with her for 8 months, but I didn't realize that's where she was living during this time.
Maybe not at that time, but this isn't your typical patient-therapist relationship, is what I'll say. So that's...
Oh, no.
Once you realize how close they were, then it makes more sense why she would arrive sooner, because they were best friends, which is unethical. You can't have a patient live with you, and you can't be their friend.
I mean, the show Shrinking does not want to hear that. But I'm with you. You shouldn't be able to do that. And this was weird as hell in this case. What's wild, that therapist is the main talking head in this episode because she's the only person here in defense of Ashley. Yes. That's even weirder to me. Yes. That Ashley gave her permission to be a talking head on Dateline. It's weird.
It's weird.
If it wasn't so serious, I would be laughing.
Oh, another weird thing before we leave the crime scene, because we got to go downtown for what we hope is an interrogation. But I always love it when you can kind of hear the cops throw shade in how they describe certain stuff, because when he says that Ashley wouldn't leave until she saw her little girl, because her 3-year-old was at the park with grandma, and he goes, she was behind this tinted window. The kid couldn't see her, but she could see the kid, and I guess that was good enough for her.
Right.
Allowed them to walk up to the car where Ashley could see her daughter, but her daughter couldn't see Ashley in the back of the car. And that was acceptable to her.
This was at night, right?
Yeah.
Why was the kid at a park at night? Maybe it was like, Mom, take my kid to the park so I can shoot Doug.
Boom. That's good. And we didn't hear from Ashley's mom in this case. We show up to the police station, and who beats Ashley and the therapist there?
Not one, but 2 lawyers that represent Ashley.
Yeah.
Now, listen.
Yep. Let's hear it.
Kateline is all for this.
Absolutely.
That's how Kateline would be handling. But seeing it actually happen, I'm like, okay, that is a red flag.
Yeah, I thought of that too, of this lady is playing this down the line how Kateline would do it. And it fucking works out, because guess what? We don't hear a single... We don't even hear a guess of what happened in that house until she's on the stand 4 years later. That's pretty wild.
So she didn't say anything.
Not a fucking thing. And it's crazy. When they were saying it in the Dateline, AC was like, and finally, what we've all been waiting for. And I was like, well, I'm not really waiting. What's she going to say? And then I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. We don't even hear what people think happened. Mm-hmm. And I guess we'll save it till the trial of what they fought over, because Kurt Money was kind of cracking up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we see tape of her, and the cops are like, hey, thanks for coming. We're not going to get a statement from you. We know.
We're not going to be taking a statement from you. That's fine.
And the video was doing a lot of work blocking out whatever paper was in his hand. Mm-hmm. The editors were having to do a lot of blurring. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on this interrogation? We didn't get much of it.
No, there wasn't enough to even dissect. It was just, okay, thanks for coming. Bye.
Yeah. I still appreciate the production team getting the footage, though. I liked seeing it.
Same, yeah. And I also thought it was interesting that it looked like the lawyer knew that this was going to be happening, because she was fully dressed in her lawyer gear. Mm-hmm. I would have expected the lawyer to come over in sweats, being like, got a call at the last minute, got to run down to the station. What time of day was it? What time of night? Did she come from the office, or was this planned?
Oh boy. I'm
thinking that maybe Ashley's entire team was in on this.
Okay. I believe it. I know that they got money to burn, because if they show you the crime scene, these people are getting the big size U-Haul and a pod. That's pricey, dude. I had to do this. I had to pick one or the other, and guess what? I went with U-Haul because it didn't cost $2,500. That's what a pod will cost you, Kate.
That's a lot.
$2,500. Now, actually, this might be why this is a shorty episode, because at this point, we spend the next 25 minutes in a Kramer v. Kramer situation describing divorce court.
Yes.
Right?
They had a child, and Doug had a child from a previous relationship, but he and Ashley had a child too. And so the divorce proceedings were leading up to this murder were all about custody and her trying to prove that he was abusive.
Yeah. And we gotta say that Doug was 57, and I think Ashley was 27. They said May-December.
Detectives were diving into Ashley and Doug's May-December romance.
But his daughter's 19 and his wife is mid-20s or something. So we can probably guess how the daughter feels about this wife.
Oh, yeah.
But they tell us their meet cute, and it's like, talk about painting a picture of 2016 as they met at an event for Ben Carlson. Remember he was gonna run for president? Mm-hmm. Do you remember this guy?
Oh, yeah. It was some fundraiser that was being hosted by him.
Yeah.
Just some pro-gun Republican Florida thing.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it, because that's what they fell in love over, because apparently she waltzed in there with their concealed carry permit. She's got her gun out, and they're like, the Secret Service was right there. And that's all Doug needed to hear, because he had to get her number and call her that night. That's what he fell for, right?
Well, she was also very pretty.
But even AC is they bonded over my 3 favorite things. I don't know about you, Kate. Guns, God, and politics.
These two really bonded over guns, God, and politics. It was part of their bonding.
Love to talk about those 3 things.
Isn't that wild how insanely opposite people can be? Those are the 3 topics of death for Kurt Money. And those are their favorite topics for them.
Yeah, that's what they bond over.
Yeah.
I will say, when you tell me that that's what they love to talk about and that's their thing, I look at Ashley and I say I can see it. I kind of had a hard time pinning that on Doug, though. Doug looked like a liberal to me. Is that wrong to say, Kate?
I feel like he looked like he was kind of a health nut, maybe, like a little bit crunchy in that way. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's what seemed kind of liberal. He was handsome. He did also kind of have some crazy eyes at times.
Yeah, because he does not take a good picture.
No.
I think is the problem.
He doesn't take a good picture. If you had shown me one of those pictures of him with the crazy eyes, I would have been like, oh, he's the murderer in this episode. Nope, not the murderer.
Yeah.
But he was very
true.
handsome. It's just some of those photos were not flattering.
No. This is in 2016. They get married 13 days later.
Another red flag.
I mean,
don't do that. Don't do that.
It's not like he proposed 13 days later, right? They were f***ing married. So, like, they made that decision, I don't know, 5 days later. Mm-hmm. And, like, they had to spend a week planning it or something.
They may have made that decision the moment they met.
Yeah. Who knows? I'll tell you this. I told my now ex-wife that I was going to ask her to marry me 3 weeks after we met. But I did not propose for another full year. But anyway, I'd say sit on a relationship for a little bit before you start throwing those things out.
Now,
would be my advice.
Are you saying that because you think you made a mistake, or that you waited a year instead of doing it immediately?
Well, you know what? We'll see if this makes the cut. But in truth, about 10 months in... Let's not spend time with this. This is probably going to...
We're going to cut this out.
Okay, so they get together, they get married. She gets pregnant in 2017 or 2018. Instantly, this falls apart.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us what's going down while she's pregnant. According to Ashley, of course. And I need to know, Kate, if you believe it or not.
According to Ashley, Doug was trying to poison her and the unborn child.
Yeah.
Ashley claimed Doug would make her tea and was adamant she'd drink it even though she felt it made her sick.
And no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second.
No, you don't. Okay.
And she was convinced that he was dangerous and abusive and trying to get everyone around her to believe this. So she was able to get a restraining order, which, I mean, yeah, if it's her word against his, that you can get a restraining order. So he was not there for the birth of his child. And
yeah, I don't think he didn't know where they were. Like she at 8 weeks into the pregnancy went and lived with her mom.
Yeah. And then he didn't even meet their kid for a long time after she was born, and didn't know anything about her. Had no relationship with his baby.
Yeah, and while he's sitting there wondering, where the hell's my kid? What she looked like? Was it a boy or girl? I don't know. I'm not involved. Ashley's making the rounds. She's not just telling everybody. She's telling newspapers and publications that Doug abused her and their dog, and this is the one that she really wanted to hit home with all these reporters, that he killed his first wife, who died of a heart attack in 2015. She's out there running with that.
She had a theory that he poisoned his first wife as well.
Doug told her that he killed his wife, Renee. This is what she told you. Yes.
And that's not true.
No, and I'm willing to say it's not true because of how the hearing went in 2018.
Yes.
Okay, like, in this case, I wouldn't be so quick to be like, she's f***ing lying. But tell us about how this hearing went, Kate, because we heard it. They taped it.
We heard audio of this hearing. It was the custody hearing, right? It was like, does Doug get rights to meet his child?
She wanted all rights revoked.
Yes.
Like, she wanted the full, like, this is not his kid, because he wasn't on the birth certificate and all that stuff.
And this was amazing. The judge was like, no. Not only are you lying about him being abusive and trying to kill you and trying to kill his ex-wife, but he's getting full custody of the kid now because you're crazy.
Yeah. This is where I'm going to tell you what I thought the title of the episode should have been. Okay. I'd have called this baby Not a Single Scintilla.
Oh, scintilla, Kurt. The word of the day is scintilla.
Right? The friggin' word. And here's the funny thing is, there's a little level of humor to that because she said it twice, dude. Mm-hmm. This judge said scintilla twice, so it was not a single scintilla. It was double.
There is absolutely not a single scintilla of credibility that I'm attaching to anything that was testified to, at least in this hearing of Miss Benefield.
That was wild to me that they put it both. I think they kind of did her dirty. I don't know if they had to put them both in there. What do you think?
She could have mixed it up and said iota.
Yeah.
There is not a single scintilla of credible evidence that Miss Benefield has ever been poisoned.
So the first time he meets his kid is right after that hearing. He gets to meet his daughter. And this is where it loses me.
Absolutely.
After all of the hell that she has put Doug through, accusing him of murder, accusing him of trying to kill her, accusing him of abuse towards her and the dog, and not letting him meet his daughter. After all of that, they decide to leave the hearing together, that Doug and Ashley and their kid are all going to stay together as a family unit. And that's it. They leave. They're back together. What? Doug, what are you doing?
Doug said, we're all going to go together. Me and Ashley and our daughter. I said, Doug, this is not a good idea.
They were together, but they're still living separately. But Doug is like, oh, but I'll absolutely move to Maryland to live around your family only. Mm-hmm. Like, that seems like, Doug, what are you doing, dude? This doesn't seem like a good idea.
No.
Right?
He's fully aware that she's crazy. And yet, he wants them to be a family. I mean, I get it. She's hot. But, come on. And I can't even imagine how Doug's other daughter is feeling. Like, are you really going back to her? Are you really going to get back together with that woman?
Yeah. We talked to Eva, and of course she's a big old TikTok star.
Yes.
Right?
She's a star because she talks about how Ashley killed her dad.
As y'all know, Ashley killed my dad.
So, and did you see what she was wearing? She was wearing a t-shirt that had Ashley's mugshot on it.
Yes, she was.
That's like a slow clap, like, Eva gets it. Okay, Eva's cool.
Eva's cool.
Now, she's doing other TikTok stuff I'm not crazy about, but that's just TikTok stuff where you're punching at words and whatnot. That's just my own personal gripes. I'm not going to hold that against her. But that shirt with a mugshot, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we at the trial? I mean, this happened in 2020. The trial doesn't happen until summer of 2024.
Her trial started in July of 2024.
And this is when we finally learn about what happened when he was murdered. We don't know anything.
You're right. You're right. And wait, real quick, how'd you feel about because the daughter they had together is 6 at this point, and the side supporting the Ashley, they're using the kid in their protests, and Doug's brother wasn't crazy about that. Where do you stand on making kids part of protests?
I know that childcare is hard to get. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to the protest, but you have no one to watch your kid, yeah, you're going to bring the kid. But they don't have a point of view. They only know what you tell them.
Yeah. And she was like the lead caller of it. Like, she would say the thing and then they'd repeat it.
Yeah.
They came out in force, marching near the courthouse. Her daughter Emerson, now 6 years old, was front and center.
It's not great. I'm with Doug's brothers on this. They seemed very cool and level-headed and offered some insight into who Doug was that made it very clear that this was all Ashley.
Yeah, I agree. And they defended him in a way you'd expect them to defend a brother when he's talking about him being aggressive or physical with her. And he's like, you got help.
I don't want to make excuses for bad behavior, but he owned his mistakes and he grew.
But we did get confirmation he punched that dog. I'm not crazy about this. Huh?
No, I didn't love that. Like I said at the beginning, I don't like anybody. Obviously, don't love murder either. But don't punch holes in the walls. Don't yell and don't hit the dog. Don't do that.
Yeah, and his explanation was weird too. He's like, it's not like I hit him like a punching bag, but the dog is big. And I'm like, dude, cut it. Mm-hmm. Cut it.
And he jumped up in my lap, and yeah, I mean, I admit I hit him. I didn't hit him like you would, hit a punching bag or anything, but I hit him.
But the judge clearly is not a dog owner because she was so pro Doug. I mean, that was at the hearing too when he's admitting that. That's how crazy Ashley was going with her opinion of how things went down.
Yeah.
That she even sided with this guy who punched a dog. Anyway, where are we at? What do you think?
The trial.
Oh, okay. So we're at a trial in Manatee County. I mean, something tells me this location might come up later.
It might.
So I won't go into it.
It might.
It might. Since when are there only 6 jurors in Florida? Did you see that?
No.
And in Florida, Ashley's fate would be decided by 6 jurors.
What? Why only half? Where's the 12?
I didn't know that. Is that really... Should
I hop to the Goog?
Does that make us look bad that we host a true crime pod and we don't know about Florida trial regulation?
If we didn't know that, I don't think so. Kateline, we know so much. If there's things we don't know, it's like, we're human, man. Florida jury rules. 6 people. 12 persons shall constitute a jury to try all capital cases, and 6 persons shall constitute a jury to try all other criminal cases. Is murder not a capital case? What does capital mean?
Well, I don't think it was murder. The only things on the table were second degree and manslaughter. So, yeah.
Manslaughter, yeah.
Capital murder.
Oh, so capital means first degree murder?
Yeah.
Okay, well, apparently, according to the Goog, this is true. That seems crazy to me. Why does Florida get to do stuff like that? But I guess it's all state stuff, right? States can decide what they want to do.
States' rights.
I mean, anytime we're in friggin' Massachusetts, we got to hear about the friggin' Commonwealth. They friggin' love saying that, right?
They love their Commonwealth.
Boo. Kurt Money's anti-Commonwealth. Just confuses me and makes me think they're in England or something.
Virginia and Pennsylvania are Commonwealths also.
They say that too?
Mm-hmm.
They, instead of saying the state or the court, they say the Commonwealth believes this.
Maybe not. I don't know, but they are Commonwealths.
Huh. Okay. All right. Well, I probably sound dumb on that, but that's okay. Because I'm anti-Commonwealth, so I'm cool with not knowing everything about it. So we're at the trial, and we're seeing some people testify, including Ava. I bet it felt so good. I wanted Ava to roll in with that mugshot shirt on. That'd have been good. But I mean, that'd have been too far, I think. But I would have been, I'd saluted it.
That would have been great.
But she did get to fucking roast her so bad. And I mean, obviously she hates her because she murdered her dad, but also just on like a young stepmom level, she fucking hated her a whole lot, right?
Yes. Not much older than her.
No.
And
she got to say it on the stand of like, there were times when she tried to like scold me or try and be a parent. And I was like, I did not like that because my mom had just died.
She tried to reprimand me a little bit more and kind of step into a motherly role, and I did not like that because it was so short after my mom passed away.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, and this woman is basically around her age. Like you don't get to be a mom to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, here we are at the trial. Ashley Benefield makes the biggest mistake of her life in that she agreed to testify.
Oof.
Right?
The defense was ready to fight back with a bold move.
The defense calls Ashley Benefield.
And there was a difference in opinion on how well she did.
Wait.
Her lawyer thinks she did amazing.
Oh, you mean Nosferatu? He had some Nosferatu vibes, right?
I didn't really pick up on that.
Look, maybe I'm just stoked for the upcoming film. Christmas. Eggers. Ferratu.
You are. You're very stoked.
Anyway, he sucked, and he thought his client did great. Would you agree with me, Kateline, that she should not have taken the stand? This is where it all fell apart?
Yeah. Well, the very first clip that we see in this episode is of her on the stand, and she's crying with no tears. Boom. So I said,
you're always
she's a liar. On the tears. Right from the jump. No tears.
You're always good for eyeing that.
Yeah.
He made me feel very special and loved.
You can hear no moisture accumulating in the sinuses or anything. Just completely fake.
Hey, let's hear it. The prosecutor agreed with you.
Mm-hmm. I kept asking her, I said, I don't see any tears. Do you see any tears?
So first she gets up there and we hear what went down the night of the murder. And it was all because of a fight over how to pack the U-Haul. That was when I realized, like, oh my God, you're right. What motivated this? So tell us about that. Tell us about what Ashley says on the stand.
You would think that she'd want the motivation to be kind of more in line with what she was telling people for years, that he was scary and abusive and trying to kill her. But then when you hear that they're just like having a simple argument about how they should pack their shit, that's not something that you kill someone over. So then she had to kind of pretend like she felt scared for her life. But it wasn't enough of a motivation. It was like, it felt to me like she was trying to backpedal to make it sound worse than it was.
Yeah. He had never hit me before. He wouldn't let me leave. I tried to leave. He stopped me.
Yeah, absolutely. And the prosecutor loves this. And this is the part, like, I'm talking belly laughs, Kate. When the prosecutor had Ashley get up and act out how Doug supposedly came at her.
Yes.
This was funny. This was good stuff. I mean, the prosecutor, and you could tell in her voice, she's like, no, come on, show us. Well, show us what he did. In her tone.
Uh-huh.
And I loved it.
Well, show me. What was he doing?
And Ashley, she gets up and does some acting out. And I want to ask you, can you say, no, I'm not going to do that? If I was Ashley, I said, no, I'm not going to get up and act it out. I'm not going to do it.
I think maybe her lawyer could have objected.
Yeah, maybe that's where it is. Maybe that's where this went wrong.
Maybe her lawyer did object and the judge allowed it. and then she has to get up.
Okay, I mean, I guess let's roll with that, because she gets up and she acts this out, and oh my God.
It's pathetic.
Tell us about this little act out she does. Mid dry tears, right?
Dry tears.
She looks like she's blubbering, but there's no tears.
She doesn't, all of a sudden, she doesn't remember anything. She doesn't remember where they were standing, what he did, how they were moving. The prosecutor does not have any sympathy for her. And she's like, no, seriously, do it. Seriously, show us. We're all waiting.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
And she's even like, do you know if his hands were his hands in a fist or open?
I don't remember.
She can't even answer that.
I don't remember.
But she can't commit to fist. So what she does say, what she does act out is like karate. She does like karate chops for how Doug attacked her. And she's going, well, what? Go ahead. Was it like this? Was it like this? And Ashley goes, well, I'm not a fighter, so I don't know. Good one. Good one. But she was seriously doing karate chops. And I'm just like, oh my God, was I dying?
He was like making like fighting motions. I don't know. I'm not a fighter. I don't know.
Okay.
It was scary.
Did he have his hands in fists?
Not at that point. They were like...
And then also the fact, like, he was shot through the side. So, like, he wasn't, unless he was doing a cartwheel at her.
It was not
like,
a self-defense kind of thing. It wasn't like he was coming right for her.
Yeah, and then, look, who knows, maybe the mom picked up the slack when the cops got there and there was a crime scene. But they showed a picture of that U-Haul, and it was done. It was already packed. Do you think they'd have this knockdown, drag-out karate fight if it was still needing to be packed? I could see that emotions get high. But they did it. They successfully did the thing. So I'm just putting more fuel to the fire. Ashley's lying, y'all.
It supports the theory that this was completely premeditated. She had the mom take the kid around the corner. She had the lawyer and the therapist on standby.
Right.
She just made up the fact that they were arguing about the U-Haul. They probably weren't. And she just knew she was going to kill him that night.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Dateline didn't get into this, but motive. Why would she kill him? Money. According to Jillionaire.
Oh, this was the extra scoop.
According to Jillionaire, it was either 2020 or 48 Hours. Another program covered this story, and it was all about an insurance claim, which Dateline never mentioned.
Why not?
I don't know.
Okay, if I could defend the show that we clearly prefer because it's way better, maybe Dateline was like, our sources on that are shaky. We're not going to put that forth until we're absolutely positive insurance was involved.
Yeah, and to be fair, my source on that is shaky as well. Because I haven't Googled it. I'm just... And Jillionaire requested that I not mention it until I had done some Googling.
Oh, of course. Fact-checking. Nope. We're bringing it straight to Mike, Jillionaire. Jillionaire says it was over insurance money. So, even with this performance on the stand, the jury is deadlocked. And at this point, I'm going, no. No.
I think they're deadlocked because the men were like, she's hot. We believe her. That's what I think.
The jury was deadlocked.
But the judge said, nice try, get back in there. And then an hour and a half later, they had all come to a consensus.
Can the judge say that?
Right? Yeah. A judge can. There's a point where the jury can say, Judge, it's not going to happen. But we've seen it before where the judge says, no, go back in there and think about it. So maybe they get like a few where it's like they can tell him once, are you sure? Go talk it over.
And maybe
it's something like that.
Maybe in this case, the judge was like, guys, this one's not hard. Go back and figure it out.
Yeah. This is a home run, guys. I mean, this is a layup. I mean, think of a metaphor for easy stuff or good stuff that's easy. This is it. Okay? No way am I getting this as a hung jury on my record. This case about the karate chopping who was so mad about the U-Haul packing.
Yeah.
No way. So they come back out and they give her the lesser charge, though. Not second-degree murder, manslaughter.
Yeah.
And again, I say, why offer it? We saw a piece of paper where it was like she's either innocent or this thing or the lesser thing. And my opinion always is don't offer the smaller thing because they'll give it to him.
I think this is a perfect example of second-degree murder because first degree has to be completely premeditated?
Yeah.
And this, my theory is that it half was. So if the only thing on the table is second degree or manslaughter, you got to go second degree because it should have been first. This was planned.
Yeah, there's no way they could prove it, but like you said, all these people that were already there, like she's been thinking about this. Another thing, they point out that the house was packed and yet there were 3 guns still available. Like they packed everything but the guns that were next to the peanut butter.
So she could murder him.
And so it could happen wherever it needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 different rooms with a gun in it still.
I think that they said manslaughter because that was the only thing that they could all agree on. The jurors who were on her side were probably exhausted and wanted to go home. And they were like, okay, well, if you're not going to say innocent, then just go with the lesser one. That was the compromise they could come to, which is not how the legal system is supposed to work.
Right.
But to me, it felt like they were just tired. And they were like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Like the people on the fence weren't really that hardcore about their position. They were like,
No.
oh, another day here? Actually, you know what? You've swayed me.
Right.
You guys put up a good...
But let's do the lesser one because she's hot.
Yeah.
And still got a 30-year sentence, though.
No, wait. We don't know yet. Her sentencing is in December. And she could only get up to a 20-year sentence, I believe.
Oh. Okay, then cut that part out.
Oh, man. Some of the best and worst parts about watching Unsolved Mysteries is they have updates at the end of most of the cases, because this is ages ago. But sometimes the update will be, person served 2 years of a 20-year sentence and was released. And I'm like, what? Why? You gonna leave me hanging on this? Stack.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, well, I think it's list time.
Kate's unnamed list. Well, you know, it's in Florida.
Oh, yeah. So Florida.
Haven't had that one in a while, but we love it. Very Florida.
I mean, I was thinking, could Manatee County, could that be in any other state other than Florida?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay, sorry, keep going. Because, Kate, you got another one. Don't say that's it. Don't you fucking say that's it, Kate.
Did they say puzzle piece?
Yes, they did. Kate. And it was freaking AC! It was AC.
I never hear it.
You don't. Whew. Okay, she says, piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
She sure did. But hey, I'm here to remind you.
One crucial piece of the puzzle was still missing.
This is a good representation of a Florida app, and not in the way that we normally think about Florida, but in that it's weird. There's only 6 jurors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some weird stuff to it. Like, this feels like a good entry into the Florida on your list.
Which raises the question, why wasn't this a Murph Dog episode?
Oh my God.
He's our Florida guy.
It's his hood. You're right.
He knows everything about it.
Kate, you're so right. This just makes me more concerned.
I know.
Because I'm like, none of this is good evidence.
No.
That he's going to be around much longer. You are so correct. Wow. Huh. All right. Well, on to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
AC came through saying this is something like a Lifetime movie.
This reads like a Lifetime movie. You have allegations of poison tea, stalking, murder. It goes on and on.
I was like, you're right. And she did it in this white top with a statement necklace. Smoking hot in that white top, Kateline. Did you see the white top? Did you see it?
I remember the necklace.
Okay. Well, that's the plan. That's what a statement necklace is there for.
It's supposed to make a statement.
And I'm glad it did its work. But that was great. That's the only thing on my list. But I love it. So AC was pretty impressed by the prosecutor asking, hey, turn on the lights, please. Because that was like her subtle way of saying, jurors, look for them tears. Mm-hmm. We're not going to see them.
Turn up the house lights. She's fake crying.
Yep.
I loved it.
Yep.
I loved it.
That was good. And so the judge in 2018 called out her fake crying. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The actual presentation that she's had in this courtroom, the turning on of tears when she thinks it's appropriate.
The prosecutor here is calling out her fake crying. They brought a guy to the stand he was a police officer in the domestic abuse department. And he testified that Ashley called him begging that he arrest Doug at the hearing so that it would look better for her getting her kid back.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and the way he said it was so funny because I told her that would absolutely not occur.
And what was your reaction to that?
That absolutely would not occur.
And then Ashley's lawyer tried to trip him up and be like, well, that was years ago. You remember exactly what you said to her years ago? That wasn't it at all.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, what are we doing here?
That's when I would, I think if I was a prosecutor, I could say, objection, he asked and answered. But also I say keep digging, Nosferatu. Keep digging this hole, right? Because it's clearly you're looking for something that's not there. It was 2 years ago. She said something absolutely crazy and also called me an asshole.
Yes.
Okay. So he's not forgetting that. He's not forgetting that.
It happened. I liked that guy.
Yeah, he was cool. What you mean? You like him? You liked his style? You thought he was handsome, or you just liked him overall?
No, I just liked his vibe.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, there weren't a lot of vibes to dig in this episode, unfortunately.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody made mistakes. Dumb ones.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of this episode. Are we doing a From the Vault next week? Because we've got some travels coming up because people got to do with the government and stuff. And it's somebody other than Kurt Money.
Our next episode, yes, will probably be From the Vault.
Okay. That's going to do it for this episode of ILH. And also remember to go to the YouTube at I'm Lester Holt to see this in video form. And I would recommend that actually for this one because of the karate chopping. It's not quite The Boy Who Hopped, but it's some good video, okay? It's some real good video. So I would go to the YouTube to check that out.
Yes.
And go to our Patreon, ILH, to get 2 episodes a month about non-Dateline things. So we got all this good stuff cooking. But anyway, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
I'm Lester Holt. For all of us, I'm Lester Holt. Good night.